every day of the week pretty much. You're grinding, different locations, and you bring cool people around you, create your vibe, and you make music happy. You make people happy with music, basically.
You know, I'm a memory creator.
Yeah.
Is what I like to look at it as, right?
Yeah.
I help people create memories, happy nights, positive moments. On the other side of this camera angle is like 500-600 people and yachts and parties and CO2.
Yeah, no. This was dope. I think, did this one go around? Can't remember. But either way, it was a fun night. So I guess the question is, if you are a DJ, how do you get collabs? How do you, like, I guess, collab with artists, collab with people that might blow your career up? How do you do that as well?
Well, I would say, and this is one thing you and me have very similar, is we understand the point of networking, right? When you're meeting people in the club, you meet them once, you get their number. You meet them a second time, you create a rapport. You meet them a third, fourth time, now you can maybe call them a friend. From there, you try and take that relationship outside of the club.
Yeah.
Come by the studio. Let me show you what I'm working on. Let's go out to eat. Get to know me on a more personable level. Let me share some music I'm working on with you. Oh, you have a friend with a yacht. I have a friend with a stream. I have a friend with a DJ set. Let's put all those pieces together and do a dope stream where we share music, where we share our lifestyles. You know, it's a collaborative effort, the whole mindset of this whole thing. And again, if your goal is to have that 10, 20-year, 30-year career, I always tell everybody, work on music or be around people who can bring musical aspects to you that you can then partner with them on songs and pitch those songs to other DJs, other rappers, other singers, and you can put those records out. Because it all comes back down to, what are we in the club for? The music.
Music. So as a avid, I guess, club goer or a partier, what do they look for in a DJ now? Because I feel like if I can work backwards as, okay, if I'm the person in the crowd, what I want from a DJ in detail. Can you tell me that? For example, like if the person in the crowd, he's playing music, what do I look for a good DJ?
Especially if you're in the house music genre, I'll tell you this, right? And then we'll circle it back. You're looking for a few songs that you're familiar with, and you're looking to discover new music.
Yes.
Because what am I trying to do? What statement am I making to you if this is your first time hearing me play? I need to play music you're not familiar with, because that's going to be like, this guy is different. This guy creates something in my mind. I pulled up my phone, my Shazam. I filmed a couple clips. He got me questioning, what song is this? He put me in a new vibe or a new little subgenre that I was not familiar with. This is a very unique experience. And you walk away with that, that's a very unique overall experience.
Okay, that's fair. And let's say, like, for example, you played a song in the club when I first was there, the Drake mix with house music. How important is it to mix music, I guess, from different genres? And then, would you ever do a collab with Drake, of course, or
Absolutely.
artists?
I'm sure our sonic will set, he's been doing collabs with Gordo.
Yeah.
Who's massive in my genre of house music.
Is that his brother? For real, for real?
No, it's not his brother.
Oh, I thought it was his brother.
He used to be a DJ named Carnage, which was a trap-based DJ from the 2010 to the 2020 boom. Massive DJ. Then he pivoted to house, rebranded the DJ name as Gordo, but him and Drake were always cool, and then he just did 10 records on this drop that Drake just did. Shout out to Gordo, but that's...
Shout out to him.
The publishing on that's going to be absolutely astronomical.
Because you know what I do? Whenever I'm in a lounge or club that plays house music, I do Shazam. I'm like, okay, new song. I'll play with my friends. How'd you find the song? I'm like, don't worry about that, man.
Exactly.
He put
and
me on.
that's the exciting part, right? You want to show people new music.
So just one more thing as well. How do you read the crowd when things are going good, going bad? How do you know when to play, to mix it up, to slow it down?
You see, and that's a great question. And that's something that I think the younger generation of DJs, because they have had less time working in the club, they don't understand. Most people are selfish at the beginning. They're playing for themselves. And that's usually how they will not end up getting more bookings. Because they're not playing to fulfill the room. Let's say you're opening DJ. Early on, promoters bring a lot of women. The guys are not there yet, right? Play friendly music to women at the beginning. Get them singing. Play throwbacks. Understand that the more hype you get them, when the men come in, they'll be more likely to spend money, which will overall make it a more successful night. Well, then the booker, the owner will be like, this DJ was dope. He catered to the room. Please come back. You know? Right. Let's say you're open format DJ. You're playing 3-4 hip hop songs. The room is frozen. They're not moving.
Yeah.
Throw in a Latin record. Throw in like an El Alfa, a Bad Bunny, something very commercial but gets people dancing. Go down that route for 2-3 songs. If that doesn't work, now maybe they do want higher energy. Go into house.
Question for you. Does actually looking at the audience, seeing what color they are matter? Because if I'm a DJ, I'm just saying this straight up, and I see black girls, I'm playing Sexy Red. If I'm a DJ, I see white people, I'm playing house. So does that factor into like what place?
It factors a little bit. Of course, people don't want to talk about it, but like, it's understanding the room.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite things, because I speak Spanish, right? I'm Italian Venezuelan. When I see a lot of Latinas in the room, I'll grab the mic one time. ¿Dónde están mis Latinas? You hear that loud noise, you're capturing the room. Boom, drop a Latin record.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Likewise, if it's, if it's hip hop, if it's house music, whatever it could be, where my single ladies at, like break the room down. Like, break it down to its core a little bit. Like, who in here is from Chicago? Who's in here from New York? I got something for you. Whatever the case may be, you drop into it.
Okay, keep it a bean, bro. So, I watch everything in the club. I'm sober. I'm actually avidly looking at everybody to see people's psychology, what they're doing, why they do what they do. So, when it comes to a DJ, right? You can tell me if I'm wrong or not. I think, just off of the presence that they have now, the power they have now, how sought after they are now, they get more girls than regular artists. Am I wrong or am I right?
You know what's interesting is that this culture, and
I'm just saying, bro. Like,
shout out to being the DJ.
I feel like if I wanted to get hoes, I'll be a DJ now because them niggas are popping off.
You know where the hoes are?
Where?
In the DJ booth.
I'm telling you. Listen. I'm telling y'all, man. I be with him. I'm like, damn, where'd you come from? Damn, who's this? Oh, what's your name, sweetheart?
Yo, it's so
I'm
crazy
ready.
that the older guys who are buying the tables trying to get in the DJ booth too.
Yeah.
It's just this weird universal thing that has changed these last few years, which I'm not mad about. Because instead of me going hunting, they come hunting for me.
And then, yo, just so you guys know, right? What happens here is that, like, I'll be in the DJ booth with him, right? And I'm like, yo, come over here. Instantly, they come. The girls are like, oh my God, DJ booth? And I'm like, was it ever this easy? Like that's funny, bro.
And I think that's the unfortunate part of why a lot of people want to be DJs now.
Yeah.
You need to work hard for that, and then you get to live that. But those are two different things. But yeah, man, the power of saying come into the DJ booth, you could bring out 10 bottles of Magnum Class A. He might compete with me, but coming to the DJ booth at an 11 or at a festival, woo, they coming.
Unbeatable.
They're unbeatable.
Tell me one of your most crazy DJ stories of you, I guess, maybe with a fan, with girls, with an artist that was like, you know what, this night was incredible, or it was like crazy. I don't want this to happen again. Good or bad?
I got you. So I was booked Super Bowl 2023 in Arizona. And my friend Cyrus at the time was working with H. Wood, and they booked Drake to headline.
Oh,
so
fire.
They booked Drake, Zach Bia, and Gianni Blue. And I do the event. I open up the event. Sick. It's in an airplane hangar. One of the coolest events I've done in my life. It's in a private jet hangar. Actually, Drake landed at the hangar and walked from the plane to the show.
Sorry, man. I'm a Drake fan. I don't care what nobody says, bro. Drake is fucking fire.
No, I'm with Drake.
The niggas on top
I'm
for
with
a
Drake
reason.
no matter what. He understands culture.
Facts.
He understands every genre. But going back, crazy story. So Drake's there, whatever, right? We do the show. I do the show. Zach, Drake, cool. They pick like 60 people to go into this back room of the hangar. And this after party was like, they said nobody even look at their phone. It was Drake, Lil Baby, Dre London, shout out Don Londres.
Yeah, shout out to him.
It was Ludacris, I think, was there.
Damn.
Gianni Blue. I mean, and multiple more rappers that I can't even remember right now. Every A-list athlete that was there for the Super Bowl. It's like 70 of us. The room is dark, just beautiful women. Everybody's gambling. It's just this crazy after party. And that was a moment where I was like,
I made it.
What I'm doing is going to put me in rooms where 99% of other people can't get in. And if that's your desire to be around fame and music, of course, everybody has their own thing. But I knew then and there that my networking, my skill set, and me just doubling down on my passion put me in this type of room. And, since then, we quadrupled down on everything.
That's fire, bro. So I guess, what's up next for you as a DJ? What's your next goal? And I guess next event coming up?
I got you, bro. Well, we are on tour all summer. We have a very, very special announcement that I'll hopefully, tune into my socials at Gianni Blue. I'll be letting people know in a week or two, but it's going to be one of the biggest things I've ever done in my life. And we're just pushing new markets, pushing new collabs. I have a collab with a world famous Chicago DJ named Autograph. I have a collab with Sick It coming. I have a collab with Summer Rae coming. Amongst other things, I'm actually something random, right? Because I'm pushing global music always. I have a collab with this rapper named Kizo. He's the most famous Polish rapper in the world. YouTube channel has 2 billion views. Most people don't even know about him. But in his country, 20 or 30 platinum records. I'm doing something with him, right? I'm always just trying to push the box. I don't ever like to be like, people know what I'm going to do. I meet people everywhere, and I will say this, Miami is the greatest city in the world to meet people.
It is.
The greatest city, hands down.
I remember, I told a story one time on my stream where I met an NBA player, right? Random as hell. And I was at the one hotel. I was with some girls. He invited me to his mansion party, and I had a crazy story, right? They're like, you didn't meet no NBA player in Miami? That's cat. I'm like, dude, do you know if you walk the street, you might meet a streamer, a celebrity, an actor, just in one setting. And I'm like, this is normal in Miami.
This is normal. Let me tell you something personable. I saw you the other day with Michael Beasley.
Yeah.
You know where I shot that YouTube mix where I'm on the Paramount rooftop? You saw that mix, right?
Yeah.
Gianni Blue Afro House 2026. Biggest mix on YouTube. That's Michael Beasley's old apartment.
Jeez.
And you ain't even know.
Small world.
We was like that.
Good dude.
Right?
Good dude.
Good dude.
Yeah.
Good dude. But like, again, networking, being out, putting the right foot forward, being cool. Mm-hmm. Look what happens.
Yeah, guys, Miami is where it's at. I promise you, man, Miami is definitely where the money is. Like, the money's here, and Hollywood is dying, or it's pretty much like dead.
All those people are moving here.
Yeah.
I will say this, right? You want to go into acting and those things of that nature, yeah. Stay in Hollywood, be around that vibe. Even though they're not shooting in California no more, that's the world. But you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be in finance, you want to be in music, you want to be in tech. Everything and everybody's here in Miami. And I will say, like, I'm so thankful to be born and raised in Chicago. It gave me the ability to adapt, the ability to hustle, the ability to grind, you know, that Midwest mentality. But when I came down to Miami, I was already trained to be a hustler. Mm-hmm. And I just knew I came here and I could accelerate everything because everybody and everything was here.
Also, you get a lot of access, bro, as a DJ. You get to go to clubs for free.
And you get a lot of access being a world famous content creator.
That's true. But I feel like DJs have like a different level of like understanding though, you know, like they just have like, what's the word? They have a different aura, that makes sense. Because you guys have like not the craziness of an artist, but you're kind of like an artist. And you could just do DJ and then dip out. An artist gotta like perform and really do it. Is that a good comparison you think, or different?
I would say a little bit. I mean, when I'm performing 2-3 hours, I'm definitely performing. True. I'm jumping on the stage. I'm doing all these things.
But you guys put in more work than an artist.
I would say that, and I would say a DJ is in the club more. So they're very cool and know how to act with everybody in the club a lot. Mm-hmm. An artist comes in, everybody's looking at him. He does 30 minutes, he dips. There's a lot going on. Me, I walk to every table in the club because I know every table that's there. Mm-hmm. And you create this kind of aura, this energy, this persona where, you know, you just know how to move around in these settings. And that's priceless. And
then last thing for the audience here watching, if I'm going to be a DJ, what is one lesson you've learned that can change their entire career, and one mistake that you've learned? So one good thing that helped them in their career as a DJ, and then one big mistake.
And I've had mistakes in my past, right? And I always like to be positive. The first impression you have with that club is everything for that moment. And this is real deep. I'm sharing this for real. Like, over 12 years, I've had maybe 2 or 3 really bad DJ sets and bad nights, right?
It happens. No one's perfect.
It happens, right? You know, you drink too much, you were too tired from the flight, whatever the case may be, you just couldn't play the set right. And those clubs didn't book me again. But I go into other markets, and that first set is so good, I get residencies off that first set. I get 12-month deals off that first set.
What is a residency?
A residency means that you are a regular in this establishment.
Like Vegas.
I'm a resident with 11 Miami, right? Like, I'm a resident with Somewhere Nowhere New York. Like, I play there either monthly, quarterly, whatever it is, but this is where I'm building something bigger. I've partnered with the venue. The venue and the artist and the venue and the DJ really get along with their ethos, their sound, they're being good friends with everybody, and we're building together. Vegas is the most known place where that term was coined. Yeah. When you have a residency at Omnia, at Zouk, whatever. But also, Miami's are the biggest clubs in America, too. You can have residencies there, too.
Okay, so you're saying, just as a precaution, your first set determines the rest of your
Your
layout.
first impression, your first set
Yeah.
in that establishment means the most. Because if you blow your first chance, you're not getting a second chance.
Okay.
So I would say that's the biggest thing I could tell people is make sure your first set, your first impression in the club is spot on. And you give the best performance. Because like they say, sometimes you only have one opportunity.
Yeah.
And if you blow it, it might never come again.